Right then, ladies and gents, this is interesting. This is all about Zack Snyder, Justice League, toxic fans, people being sued, and then also he made some comments about Star Wars as well. Now, the original source of this is The Times. Obviously, they have like a monthly subscription. I ain't paying for that. So we've got the abbreviation stuff here. Both articles will be linked down below. I'm not overly sure how I sit on any of this because in one breath, it almost sounds like Zack Snyder is admitting that he used everyone and admitting that he used like what he even calls toxic fans. It's very strange. Very, very strange. I'm not sure if people will be really happy with his points here. I don't know. I don't know exactly where I sit on it. But like I said, both articles will be linked down below. There's two other things linked down below. My Blu-ray, please do grab it while you still can. It ships worldwide. That's for my film Blackfields. The prequel, the actual film Blackfields, and then also, ladies and gents, an hour-long making of documentary. Grab it while you can. Now, the second thing in the description box is a link to my second channel. It's a car channel where I am rebuilding a Group A Rally homologation special, a Nissan Pulsar GTI-R. Again, check it out. You might enjoy it. That's linked down below. Subscribe. Also, oh god, I hate saying this, but thirdly, guys, if you haven't been getting my notifications for videos and stuff, YouTube has actually changed something on the algorithm. You're going to get all of your YouTubers that you subscribe to saying this soon. I can assure you, even if you haven't heard it already, they've changed something. They're not putting the videos from, not mainstream media in front of you. So they're making it harder and harder for subscribers to get the content that they subscribed for. I don't know why, don't ask me, but just make sure you are subscribed, make sure your bells, notifications and all that turned on. If you don't get notifications, follow me over on Twitter at MissedHReviews because I share videos over there and you can turn notifications on Twitter. But let's dive into this, shall we? So like I said, this is over on The Times, right? Which is a big article where he's talking about grief, his daughter, which is obviously tragic, like massively tragic. And then the Snyder Cut and things that he wants to do in future. It is quite interesting. Certain elements of it are interesting. But these points are just weird. Weird. So the response to Joss Whedon taking charge of Justice League was initially quite positive, but when fans saw the movie, well, that quickly changed. Yep, true. As a result, the Release the Snyder Cut movement began to gain steam, and while many fans campaigned to see the director's original version for the movie in a respectful manner, others harassed Warner Brothers employees and generally conducted themselves in a toxic manner on social media. I mean, look, there's buttholes in every fandom. There's always buttholes in every fandom. As much as there were buttholes in the Release the Snyder Cut fandom, they were also being provoked as well. People were... It's that old phrase, isn't it? Don't prod a bear, don't prod a sleeping bear, and not expect to get mauled. These individuals were campaigning. They got backlash. They got told they were toxic before a lot of it even happened, and then they just embraced being what they were called, which is toxic. And I think that's fair enough to point out. Some of these people were obviously crapping on Godzilla vs. Kong as well, so it's interesting. Now, unfortunately, there's continued to be the case with the Restore the Snyderverse hashtag. And this, I don't like the way Comic Book Movie is framing this. I haven't seen Restore the Snyderverse hashtag being toxic. I've not seen that. Now, they say, it's no wonder that Warner Media executives have talked about moving on from the Snyderverse. And there was a big interview where Warner Media executives basically came out and was like, yeah, we're moving on from the Snyder Cut. We're moving on from Snyderverse. We're putting that to bed. So, it is what it is. Now, it's important to note that these Justice League fans, both good and bad, have raised a lot of money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which is Zack Snyder's own charity. I believe, anyway, or like he is involved in that charity in some description. So, Snyder came to their defense, but then also admitted that he used them. And this is what I mean. It does seem like he's admitting he used them. So he says, here's the reality. The fandom raised $750,000 for suicide prevention and mental health awareness. They've saved lives, that's a fact. Which is true. I think no one can dispute that. That's great. That's awesome. But then he says, but on the other hand, was it fun to provoke them for a clickable thing? Yes. And they were an easy target. What? What? What are you doing? Are you just trying to squander all the goodwill you've earned from these people? I mean, bearing in mind, ladies and gents, there'll be people that will still suck on Zack Snyder's D no matter what he says. But he's literally saying, was it fun to provoke you for a clickable thing? Yes, and you were an easy target. Unbelievable. And then he almost admits to saying that he's used them for money as well. But they continue to raise money. There are not a lot of fan communities whose primary objective, other than seeing work of a guy they like, realise their other main thing was to bring awareness to mental health and suicide prevention. For me, it's kind of hard to be mad at them. I don't think the fans are going, yes, our main objective is to raise money for mental health. That's not what they're doing. They're doing it because they like you, Zack, and you've just admitted to using them. That's how I view this anyway. That's kind of how I view it. Again, I'm not 100% certain. Very, very strange. And then he says, in the same interview, Snyder admitted that he was concerned campaigning the way he did by sharing images on Vero would land him in hot water. This was interesting. He said, basically, I was more worried that the studio would sue me or do something to silence me, which is mental. I mean, I can see why. It's not his property that he was sharing, basically. So again, here we go. Like I said, on the other hand, was it fun to provoke them for a clickable thing? Yes, and they were an easy target. Again, it does sound like he kind of used the Snyder Cut fans, doesn't it? Not good. Really, really not good. Not good. And then this last bit at the end, for me it's kind of hard to be mad at them. I don't think that softens the blow. And then he basically came out and said, yeah, look, I'd love to direct Star Wars. This is just a final piece, just to note, because it's from the same article. He says, where it gets difficult is when you take the director with a personal point of view and ask him to participate in a thing that is not asking for that. The journeyman filmmaker. There are a lot of them and they're good. I just happen to have a specific point of view. The lesson I've learned is it's much easier for me as a filmmaker to create a world and invite you into it, as opposed to me saying, let me put my cog in your wheel. Like, I would love to make a Star Wars movie. I know a lot about it, but I don't think I would survive that. So basically saying, hey, look, I like Star Wars. Don't know enough about it to make a film, though. So interesting stuff here. And I guess this kind of, is interesting. It's almost him admitting a lot of the faults that he made with DC, what people would deem it. Again, here, where it gets difficult is when you take, a filmmaker with a personal point of view and then ask him to go into someone else's world. He never made the DC world. It's not his. He tried to put his own stamp on it, and maybe that's him sort of admitting that, I guess. But again, these points here, it does sound like he's just throwing everyone under the bus and admitted that he used you. What do you guys think, though? Because there will be Snyder fans here that will be watching this video. What do you actually think? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Thanks so much. Take care.